Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
License plates are handled differently in different states. And I know that in Michigan, for instance, a few years back, if you went into a dealership and bought a car, the dealership would fill out all your information for you and submit it to the state so you can get the registration, the plates, and all that stuff. But they'd give you a temporary tag, a paper tag, and you'd tape that to your back window. And usually it's good for 15 days or something like that. It might be good for longer than other states. And of course, during COVID, all bets were off because the Secretary of State's office and the DMVs across the nation were often closed or limited hours or whatever. And so there was a problem in Texas. And I remember seeing stories about it. And I think they originated with a TV station in this story, KXAN. And that was that there were people on the road in Texas with temporary tags on their car, but they were never getting real tags. They were just simply putting temporary tags on that looked real. And that's the problem. So you're driving down the road and you pass a police officer and he sees your temporary tag. How does he know that you just didn't print that off of a laser printer? Or that someone else didn't print it off for you that had no authority to do so? And so that was a very serious problem because it got out of control. And so now there is a new law in Texas, no more paper license plates. They're going to start giving you the metal ones from day one. So it'll make it a little harder for them to fake on this. Matt Grant writes this for KXAN. The governor signed a bill into law a couple days ago that puts the brakes on Texas' paper license plate problem by tearing up the current system. The new plate replaces all paper tags with metal ones. It goes into effect July 1st, 2025. So it's a new law. It'll be in effect in about 2 years. Feel relieved and no, didn't feel this day would come, said Rep. Craig Goldman from Fort Worth, who introduced the bill that eliminates all paper plates. Bills this big that make fundamental changes in the state don't normally pass the very first session that you file them. So huge relief. And the question is, who would fight this? What would be your opposition to say, oh no, I like the temporary paper tags? The move caps more than 6 years of investigations by KXAN and an equally long fight spearheaded by law enforcement in Central Texas to stop what has ballooned into a $200 million black market, impacting all 50 states. So under the new law, car dealers will be required to issue metal license plates from the Texas Department of Motor Vehicles when a vehicle is sold. At a cost of $10, metal license plates will be issued instead of the current paper one-trip and 30-day temporary permits. The new law also ensures dealers are able to obtain in advance a sufficient amount of plates in order to sell vehicles without an unreasonable disruption of business due to the unavailability of license plates. The Texas DMV is tasked with establishing an expedited process, so that might be what's going to take them 2 years. And they have until December 1st of 2024 to come up with rules to implement the change. So a years-long series of KXAN investigations revealed criminals are not only counterfeiting dealer tags, but also have infiltrated the Texas DMV and have printed and sold real ones with phony information by posing as car dealers. Fraudulently obtained tags are used to turn vehicles into virtually untraceable ghost cars. 2 top officials with the Texas DMV resigned last year amid this scandal, including the then executive director. In late last year, the Texas DMV introduced a redesign of paper tags touting security features like watermarks and QR codes. And of course, if a car drives by you, it's hard to glance at the watermark or even run the QR code. Now, if you pull the car over and you're a police officer, you could probably run that QR code, but that might not be enough. Despite the change, one man said he was given a counterfeit copy of a paper plate with the new security features meant to prevent fraud within 1 hour of its launch. It confirmed his belief that the only way to fix the paper plate problem is to get rid of paper tags altogether. And that's what he told the TV station previously. In 2017, the paper license plate program did not stop plates from being forged, and it turns out that it was extremely difficult to tell the difference from a real one and a fake one unless you actually ran it because they looked the same. So since then, there's been a fight statewide to stop the proliferation of bogus tags. And law enforcement says that there's even organized crime, human smuggling, drug running, and other crimes related to this. So as you can imagine, if you can get a fake tag really, really easily, and you're doing any of those things in a vehicle, yeah, you might want to do that. So it's going to, in an instance, make it a lot safer out there, said one official of the new law. They're not going to be able to hide regarding the tags. While the new law won't kick in for another 2 years, meanwhile, the governor signed another bill which clarifies temporary license plates are a government record. So law enforcement officials said this will make it easier to prosecute tag fraud with tampering charges. That law goes into effect in September of this year. So you're tampering with an official government record if you provide that to somebody or if you post it on your car. Meanwhile, one person said, I didn't think they were going to eliminate all paper tags. I thought that was going to be the fight to the finish. I really did. Again, who is opposed to this? I mean, is there a paper tag industry that's, oh my gosh, we're going to lose our one big client there in Texas to whom we sell all the paper tags? I mean, it's just paper, right? It's not. If it wasn't for you guys exposing it, we'd still be in the trenches fighting, he added, referring to the TV station. But you know how it is. You guys are kryptonite, referring to KXAN. Meanwhile, they're talking about educating and training law enforcement across the state. And I can tell you, I saw some of the clips they shot, and I've seen videos on YouTube, and I think a lot of them relate to KXAN, where you could go on the internet and just find people who are selling paper tags. And you meet them someplace, and they hand it to you, and you hand them some money, and you drive off, and they drive off. And now you've got a paper tag you can put in your window, and it looks real. Credit absolutely goes to investigative reporters like you and your station. You've been doing this for years, reporting on fake paper tags. The more the general public heard about the paper tags, and now I have 149 colleagues who drive around the state and say, every time I see a fake paper tag, I think of you. And I don't even know how they'd, again, be able to tell, because like I said, the fake ones look just like the real ones. The same credit goes to y'all for informing the public and keeping us aware of the problems in the state. So there's no question that was a major part of it and a component of it as well. And by the way, the story goes on for quite some time. But basically what's going to happen is that in the year 2025, not 2525 by Zager and Evans, but the year 2025, they're going to start issuing, everyone gets the license plate. Everyone gets the metal tag, okay? But until then, However, like I said, I've seen videos, and it was just rampant. And it's not all criminals who are doing this, in the sense that people who are committing other crimes wanted to get a paper tag to go along with their crime. Apparently, there's just a lot of people who thought, well, I can't really afford to plate my car properly. I can't get the proof of insurance, but I can get a tag from this guy. So you slap the tag on your car. And now you're not all that money for those pesky things like, registrations and proof of insurance and all that stuff. And so I'd be curious to know how many of these fake plates there are out there. And I'm not sure if anybody actually would even know a real number on that or just an estimate. But it sounds like it was a very serious problem. And by the way, I did the story a couple days ago about the vehicles that were popping up in Arizona that had been stolen in Michigan. And there's very, very legitimate and authentic looking titles that went with those vehicles. And the titles came out of Georgia. And I got a note from a guy who told me that he was intimately familiar with what happened in Georgia. And he explained it in the email, and I believe him. And he said the weird part is that a stack of these titles that were blank got stolen from Georgia and have been causing problems ever since then. And he goes, the one part they never put in any of those stories is that those titles are traceable. In other words, they grabbed a stack of titles, and he implied that there was something on them similar to like a serial number for the title, not the car. And he said they know sequentially all the numbers of all of these. So they wanted to, they could have flagged all of them. They could have, but they didn't have. So once in a while, it's baffling. It's baffling to me that they anticipated a fight on fixing this problem. Who is opposed? Again, I'm serious. If you can think of a group that would legitimately say, no, eliminating paper tags is bad. If you can think of the group that actually can legitimately make that argument, put it in the comments. I'd like to see it. I find that hard to believe that they actually anticipated that much pushback on something this simple. So there you go, Will. Thanks for sending it. From KXAN, Matt Grant wrote it. No more paper license plates in Texas starting 2 years from now. New law tears up old system. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. I always say thank you to smart speakers, so when the machines take over one day, they'll know I was the nice one.